Okay everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this video we're going to take a look at the new Ping G425, and this time it's the SFT. So I have done a review of the G425 Max and also the LST a few weeks ago now. You can go and check that video out. Good performing drivers. And we're going to take a close look at the SFT. So this is more of a draw driver now. So any for you guys who, as right-handed golfers, would lose a ball left to right, you know, heavy fades, turn into slices, then this is potentially a driver that you might want to sort of look at to try and help you to get that club face close in and try and reduce that missed shot to the right. Right, okay, so SFT, what does that stand for? That stands for Straight Flight Technology. So as I said before, it's trying to reduce that shot to the right. So we see now a lot more weight now positioned into the heel of the golf club. So what you're noticing in maybe the Max and the LST, we had a weight on a track that was in the central position, which you could then move more slightly into the heel, slightly into the fade position. Whereas this is now, there's no track, it's just a fixed 23 tungsten weight in this heel. So much more weight pulling the heel. So the idea around that is to make the heel of the golf club a bit heavier than the toe. If the toe's lighter, then potentially that's going to move faster, which is going to result in the club face squaring up quicker through that impact area, because we know that open face is a massive contribution to obviously hitting a slice. So this is a 10.5 head because they only do one loft in offering this. So it's a 10.5 head. You know, clearly, this is a driver suited to me because mine misses a little bit left. I don't need any help of that ball going left, but it was just to maybe give you an idea of how much sort of shape I'm going to get this ball maybe working to the left, because recently you've probably seen on my videos I'm actually starting to hit like a lot more neutral than I used to, and a little bit of a left to right sort of shape on it. So it'd be interesting to see what SFT does or influences my ball flight. So first impressions down about that golf ball, obviously the head size is very similar to what we've seen in the Max. You know, the finish of it, we talked a lot about the sort of finish, the technology and everything in the original review, which is exactly the same in the SFT. It does sit close, as you're going to expect. It's a draw driver, so for me that sits very sort of toed in. Again, it's trying to start that club face and point it more left of target. Okay, let's get underway and hit a shot. So as I say, it's a 10.5 head. I've got this set at 10.5. Yeah, and that's moving up that left-hand side. Really moving up that left-hand side. Wow. That felt like a decent strike, to be honest. So you see that launch 12. Carry. I won't look too much into the distance numbers really. It's more around the sort of the direction of this club in terms of what it's trying to do. Yeah, that's definitely just starts left. I mean, it's just really obviously closing the club face. So it's great for golfers, you know, who typically will deliver the face very open. You know, if that club face can turn in through a sitting of the club face at impact, at setup position, a little bit toed in, loads of weight in that heel side, working it in, can obviously get that club face squaring. So Ping is saying this has an influence of up to 25 yards more left bias than the G425 Max with that weight in the centre. So there's a little bit more draw biased, obviously, in that. I mean, again, you know, with the Max, you can move that weight into the heel. It's not going into the heel as much as what we see in the SFT. That's very much in the heel, because obviously the track on the Max and the LST is much smaller now, so it only subtly moves, but obviously the weight is heavier, so it is moving that. The centre of gravity is a bit more in that heel, but I think this has just got more influence. 23 grams is quite a hefty bit of weight there, to be honest. Oof, and that was a bad strike. That was a real heel strike, but again, it has started up that left to the heel. Well, it's an interesting one, that, because obviously what we typically would see with a slight heel strike is that ball's going to try and curve to the right, you know, probably start left through a heel strike, but then it's going to try and gear and cut to the right, and that hasn't cut, has it? It started touch left and just held its line. Now just going into the offerings here, there's only one head at a 10.5 degree, but obviously we've got the neck sleeve, so we can move that loft down. Obviously by moving it down, you are going to reopen that club face in that address position. Okay, just got to remember that, but obviously the weight is still obviously going to be fixed in that heel section. Or if you think you need more loft in there, obviously you can start to loft that up. And when you do loft that up, that is again just going to subtly close the club face even more. So in a way, you're making it even more draw biased by adding loft to the golf club. Again, that was a touch off that bottom, but it's working up that left-hand side. So Ping are also saying this is a slightly lighter swing weight in comparison to the Max and the LST. So this is coming in at D1, which again is helping to influence that shot shape. A little bit on that toe strike there, but definitely moving up that left. So there's clearly some influence there, isn't there? They really are moving that ball up that left-hand side. Okay, so what I'm just going to do now, which should be quite an interesting sort of test to do. Obviously, it's a 10.5 head. I'm going to drop that loft now. Now I can drop that loft by up to 1.5 degrees. Okay, so I'm taking this down to 9 degree, which is a bit more in my area of loft that I would typically play with. Now we should sort of see that this is going to slightly open the club face. When you take the loft off a driver, it will actually slightly open that club face. Let's have a look at that playing position. And yeah, straight away there, that just sits like the G425 Max now. Much squarer, fraction toed in if I'm going to get really picky, but that does sit much squarer. Okay, let's hit some shots with that. Obviously, we've still got that weight in the heel, but obviously the initial club face positioning now isn't pointing as far left. Okay, it's still gone left. It's still gone up that left-hand side. A little bit quick on that club head speed actually there. Yeah, it's a little bit longer shot there. A bit more club head speed. Oh, that's a good strike. But again, it's up that left side. So clearly there, that weight is making a big influence there. Yes, we've got club face or club angle at address position closed. That, as I've dropped the loft, much square in its appearance, but obviously that weight is still doing its job, isn't it, of working that club face more rotational, more that toe closing a lot quicker. Yeah, okay. So it'd be no good me play with that when I've got out of bounds up the left-hand side. So clearly for SFT, it's obviously not suited to me and my delivering the way I deliver the golf club, but it is definitely very draw biased. So I'd love to get a sort of club golfer in who maybe suffers with a slice, get this in their hands and see what sort of influence that maybe makes to them. Unfortunately, we can't do that currently because we're in lockdown in the UK, so that option isn't available. But as soon as we are opened up, hopefully we can get somebody in and we can maybe do that test again. Okay, appreciate you watching the video as always. Hopefully you found that interesting. Is that a driver you would possibly go out and try yourselves? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop them in the comment section down below and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.